Ouch. What did Powell say today? Because stocks were going down and then they crashed. Well, that's a pretty important question. Whatever he was thinking, look what he did. We closed down by 9 cents. Then we went down by 20 more cents into after hours. How dare he? What are you doing? I basically heard him say, that's not my job. That's not my department. I'm just the money technician. I just go burr. It's a matter of how much. So, yes, we're going down and then we crashed. But let me zoom out and give you a really quick highlight because your time is valuable. So, on the 1 day chart, we did print a daily lower low, and that's the second time in a row. It's a fail breakdown today. That's a notch for the bulls. For the bears. The bulls, well, we got a higher low still. Last week's low, 595.4. We got 596.4. 1 point higher low. Who is going to win in the battle between the bulls and the bears? Well, I think that depends on whether we get tight man or if we got, where is he? There's Cool Man. Cool Man, you going to come back? Hey, maybe I'll see you in 2026. So, yes, we closed red. And here's what Jerome Powell said. Latest dot plot sees fewer cuts in 2026 and 27. Central bank cuts growth forecasts, boost inflation outlook. What is that? It's called stagflation. Unchanged for rates. Tariffs were the central issue. 2 cuts into the rest of this year, which is what we were expecting. Tension in the Middle East. And then treasuries. Let me give it to you even simpler. This is what changed. It's a summary of economic projections, or an SEP. And this is exactly what changed here. It's just these numbers. If you want, pause the video. But the reaction to the news is what's more important. So the market already knew a lot of what happened here. Here's some headlines too. Powell's decision. He cites tariffs as the primary impact. Hold steady. He's holding the line. Says tariffs are likely going to impact prices over the summer. What happened? Oh man, what a stupid person. All right? Only a stupid person would say that. Well, time changes, doesn't it? Look at the date here. November 2017. President Donald Trump announces nomination of Jerome Powell to be chairman of the Reserve Board of Governors. Just let that sink in for a second. Why? Because mom and dad are fighting right now. And what are you doing? Earmuffs. Why? It's not the only fight here. Yeah, I'm going to take your gerb. Yeah, you're the richest man on the planet. I'm going to take your gerb. He's like, okay, sir, I'm just a robot. Can you give me some lubrication? Because right now I'm feeling a little bit nervous. That's right. So why don't we need that? Why don't we have to be nervous? Because we got notes. We have a plan. We have a plan of attack. This is what I wanted to see happen today. I want to see a knee-jerk reaction. That's what happened. It just went the opposite way of what I wanted. So at 2 o'clock and 2:30, we got an opposite move. I wanted to see an advance into 2 o'clock. What happened instead? Let me give you a quick update. So here's where we opened, right? We did advance, and there's competing headlines right now. So it's hard to know exactly what's happening, but here is yesterday, here's today, rocket ship up, and then we just started sliding into where? Into 2 o'clock. Rallied a tiny bit to a lower high. What happened? Knee-jerk reaction lower right at 2 o'clock. So, sorry, where's the move higher here? Where's the 2 o'clock candle? My bad. Let me just check this here. There we go. It's what I said. This is not what I want to see. So right here, we get a doji, and then we actually go red for 2 candles. Knee-jerk reaction on Powell's headline. Then we went down. What I basically heard him say is that, hey, we got to get clarity on tariffs before I really make a decision. So still technically a dovish statement because there's still 2 cuts. But we got the opposite of this. We actually saw a decline into 2 p.m. So we rallied during the morning, saw a decline, and then we saw a advance at 2 to 2:30. And then we got the decline after. So Uno reverse, we just got the opposite. That's what happened. The dots came in. We got the headlines. Here's the update to our notes. So Powell was today, the first half and second half of the week. This is the part I'm less sure about. Tomorrow we're closed. There is no trading in the U.S. So what did we do? Well, we closed at or near the low, and we're at or near the low of the week with 2 inverted hammers. This is usually not a good sign for the bulls. Is it a guarantee we're going to go lower? Nope. So if we look here, I know sometimes it's a little bit harder to see the full candles and hollow ones, but a hollow candle literally just means that we open at the low and close at the high. There's 4 data points on any candle. There's the there's the high, there's the low, the high. Let me just clean this up here and make it simple because I think people don't quite understand my candles. So we look here, that's the low, that's the high, that's the wicks. Then we get a real body. The real body is right here. So when I'm looking at the chart, we know that most volume happens at the open and the close. So if most volume happens at the open and the close, we can look at that by literally looking at the real bodies right here, 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 right here. And then we can note where there's congestion because remember, on a weekly candle, that's Monday and Friday. So on Monday and Friday, where are people holding on? They've been holding on for weeks and now they're at risk of going red. The beach ball might get lost. Oh, so if the beach ball gets lost, what are these people thinking? It doesn't matter what I think. We can see the higher low here. We can see a lower high after a failed break with higher lows. If I'm confusing you, all we're doing is taking a pause. We're pop flagging. Pop, flag. With an inside bar, what we have to defer to is the dominant trend, which is low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We have a failed breakout, and that's in my notes. So it's right here. Let me zoom in and show you this. I'm going to ask you for a huge favor, though. If you could please consider smashing a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. So Powell was the first half of the week, and as of right now, this is an opposite candle. We opened the week right here, we rallied up, and now we're selling off. So we can note that we opened this week at the 600.4, we rallied to a high of 604, and we're currently on the C at 597. So this did happen. It's just not what I wanted. So yeah, sometimes I'm wrong. Yesterday, we were 2 out of 4 bear. Now we're 3 out of 4, as I showed you at the beginning. We printed a lower low, but we didn't close below it. On the weekly candle, still technically bullish, but I'm noting the failed breakout from the previous candle. And now we have a full candle as well, which means we're technically lower than the open of the session, which happened on Monday. Now looking to the monthly, still bullish above 597. Where are we? Oh boy, we're close. That's why I'm a little bit nervous. If we print that lower low, what we also talked about was that by definition, it means we're going to be below that area. So if we go here to S&P 500, what do we note? 595.55 would technically be the higher low to 1 cent. If we're at 595, we're below 596. Let me remind you of why that matters. If we look here to a monthly candle, 596 or the previous candle high is our expansion. That's 595.54. That's why I'm showing you that one number here on the summary. Pause if you need to. All right, we got all the key areas here for this week. I give it to you every week. Okay, so if that's where we currently are, and this is where we could go on the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, it's basically the same thing for the NASDAQ. I just focus on the S&P. Look at the golden cross forming here, though. And I think on the S&P would be roughly a 5% decline if we went from here all the way down. Let me quickly check that, actually. If we were to get a dip, oh yeah, grab your chips. Why? Because we're going to love this dip. 5.6% right now to get down to the 50 MA, roughly 4. I would expect a bounce on the 200 MA, which would also be our bull market threshold, 578. All right, so currently bullish. We made it through the FOMC and the SCP. That's what I showed you. Powell press conference. Tomorrow was a holiday. I wish all my great American friends a nice day off. We'll see if we actually get anything on the TikTok deadline, or if they don't even discuss it. There's a lot of other major headlines right now, which might trump it. One last thing, noting that MasterCard, Visa are down today. There's I think it's called the Giant or Genius bill trying to get passed right now. But also, Coinbase is going mega up. Look what Coinbase did. It's the biggest gainer on the S&P 500 today. Yeah, it's going mega up. Look at that. Volume preceding price. Is this the new Palantir? It could be. And they've launched a stablecoin payment service for e-commerce. Whoa. That's pretty cool. $6 trillion industry, no big deal. And this is on the back of Circle, CRCL, which is a stablecoin IPO. And oh boy, this thing's doing real good. IPO'd at 60. Now it's up here at 220. Wowzers. There's a lot of appetite for this right now. Amazon, Walmart, and it's built on the back of what I believe to be Stripe. The payment system, I think, is the best one. So here's who they're working with. Coinbase, Dribble, Remote, Blockchain.com, Uniswap, MetaMask, Phantom, and OKX. So this is a way for them to accept stablecoin payments globally, any currency, anytime, and there's lower fees. So I'm personally excited about this because we want to use it in our business. Credit cards do take a meaningful chunk of our revenue. It's 3.4 to 4%. I believe in the documentation I was looking to onboard on, it's roughly 2%. But here's the reason why it matters. Bitcoin's doing pretty good this year, currently sitting at roughly 104K, and up by 12% this year. It's crushing the S&P. Looking at gold, though, that boring physical gold, well, people like it more. And it's going up mega big, right? 27%. So I think this is the new reserve currency. I think this is a contender. Even JP Morgan has a stable coin now. Is something happening? I encourage you to smash a thumbs up and come hang out with me at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. Thanks so much.